Hello, Royals. Welcome to another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. I'm Lady TrenettWilson. We went through a pandemic not long ago where we all had to wear masks and things like that. And I pray for all those who lost a loved one during that time. But pandemics and things like that are no stranger to the U.S. In fact, during the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, the country experienced something called leprosy. Now, leprosy, there are different types of leprosy, but the bottom line is it attacks the skin, it attacks the joints, and it's a very, very miserable disease. Though people can live with leprosy, it's very painful. Well, did you know a young lady named Alice Ball was responsible for creating a method called the Ball method, which addressed how to cure and also deal with leprosy. So I want to thank you all for joining me. As you know, our history is always hidden, but I think you're going to really enjoy this lesson. Now, Alice was born on July the 24th, 1892 in Seattle, Washington. Her father's name was James and her mother's name was Laura. Now, her grandfather was a real well-known photographer. His name was James Ball Sr. And that really kind of is interesting because there's literally only this picture of her graduating. There are no other pictures online of her. So though her father was a photographer, grandfather did that. Maybe he didn't take a lot of pictures of her. So I've had to do some AI stuff. I've had to add some extra pictures, but there's only one picture of her. She attended the University of Washington and she earned two bachelor's degrees, one in pharmaceutical chemistry and another in pharmacy. So she always was very interested in the chemistry field. Her remarkable intellect actually led her to the University of Hawaii, where she graduated with a master's degree in chemistry. So, chemistry all the way. Now, at just 23 years old, Alice began researching a very challenging medical problem, leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease. Now, leprosy was alleged to have been brought and spread during the slave trade and introduced by the Europeans. Now, you would see lesions on the skin, and most painful for those who suffered with leprosy was the nerve damage. They would literally have to lose limbs because of this disease. Now, at the time, the only treatment was chalamugra oil. This was a thick, sticky substance derived from tree seeds. It was nearly impossible for the people to tolerate it because it couldn't be easily absorbed into the body. So they suffered terribly. And it wasn't only just physically, it was also socially. If they caught leprosy, they would be moved out of the where they were living, and they had to be isolated, so they couldn't live in the colony anymore. So it was really terrible. So using her deep understanding of organic chemistry, Alice developed a method to make the active compounds in the oil water soluble so they could be safely injected. And this is what was became known as the Ball method. Did you know a black woman was responsible for curing leprosy? That is just, you know, I'm just, I don't want to start no stuff, but I just have to say this. We all been in high school, college. Some of us are older, some of us are younger. But if you have been here at least the last 60 years, we mostly learned about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and maybe Rosa Parks. And then if you were on the kind of on the radical side, you may have learned about, the Malcolm X side of it and, some, Black Panther stuff. So things like that. But these hidden people who had such great impact on our health, on our wealth, on our life that we are still benefiting from today are never spoken about, are never taught about. And so when I say I'm upset because they've been derelict in their duties on teaching Black history. I guess that's why I'm so happy too, because this month, I'm celebrating 1 year of doing the Royal Black and Elite channel. And I'm telling you, I am so honored to be able to share these stories because, like I said, they're not in history books a lot of time, except in my Royal Black and Elite book that's coming out in January. This will be volume 2. If you do not have volume yet 1, be sure to go pick it up. I'm going to take it off of sale at the end of the year. So definitely pick that up so you can also get volume 2. So I just want to thank everybody for celebrating with me, for listening to these great Royal Black and Elite history stories. And it's because of you that the message is getting spread all around the world, that there were other Black people in history that we have yet to learn about. And so I am honored to introduce you to Alice Ball. Alice played a significant role in curbing leprosy and treating people with the disease. And I also wanted to bring her story to you because her story ended very tragically. This girl was only 24 years old when her promising career was tragically ended. Yes, only 24 years old when she lost her life. It was on December the 31st, 1916. Now, mind you, she didn't cure leprosy at 23 years old. I can only imagine the career this woman would have had if she lived past 24 years old. That's why, God tells you to move when you're young. Do the things that you need to when you're young, because you never know. Some of y'all may be sitting on some stuff that you've been led to do and you haven't done it. Y'all do it. This baby was 24 years old and she passed away, some say, from exposure to some toxic chemicals during her research. The records still do, however, remain unclear. We don't know what really made her pass, but it most logically is from being around these chemicals. After her death, however, her male doctor, his name was Dr. Arthur L. Dean, he continued her work, but he tried to take credit for it. He started feeling bad, and he finally had to tell the truth. And so there's a movie now called The Ball Method that you can watch. And I'm so excited now. Like I'm saying, she's getting out. People are starting to know her. And thanks to the doctor who decided not to tell lies on her, that and him, that she was truly the person who created this research. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in for another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. Hunter's Point. Y'all, is premiering on Friday, but also is going to be coming on every Friday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. It's an audio book. So I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on another great episode. Listen, y'all have a great day. Continue to click down below, and don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe.